Welcome to another edition of the Three Count. This is our Year End Awards show. It's Benny,
Yep.
Juan, and myself, Paulinho. Let's get it started, guys. So, which category should we start off with first?
I have them in this order right here, and I'm not going to give you my winners or anything, but right now I have, starting from top to bottom, best gimmick, debut of the year, oh my god moment of the year, the You've Got to Be Fucking Kidding Me award, heel or face turn of the year, return of the year, feud of the year, best championship victory, NXT match of the year, WWE match of the year, female wrestler of the year, and male wrestler of the year.
That sounds pretty good.
I figured that would be the best way to do it since we're ending out with the wrestler and the match of the year all the way down at the end of it.
Yeah, sounds about right to me.
So we can pretty much start out with gimmick of the year, or best gimmick, I should say, which I'm pretty sure
Honestly,
I think we're all going to agree on this
one.
one.
Unanimous decision.
The Fiend.
Yep. The Fiend.
There's no contest.
Absolutely.
There is none.
Absolutely no contest whatsoever.
Nope.
There's nothing to be said. I mean,
not even close. Like not even close.
Who can we even say came close? Or, I mean,
nobody. Because
nobody.
Let me put it to you like this: as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to an actual character, not so much, in the in the wrestling sense, but when it comes to an actual character, the only other person who portrayed their character as far as I'm concerned, in the exact same or near the same class as the Fiend would be Shane McMahon, and I'm not going there.
True.
See,
I'm not going there.
If this was last year, I would have said Aleister Black.
I was thinking the same thing.
They pretty much killed his gimmick completely when he called him up.
They killed his gimmick during the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yeah.
Not even before. Once they did the Dusty Rhodes Classic, that was it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who else is there? There's also I can't remember now. It's in my mind, but there was somebody else whose gimmick could have worked, but it just didn't work out. Like
literally everyone.
But on to the next category, since that was a unanimous one.
Debut of the year, because we're going to get this exact same one out of the way. The Fiend.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. I was just thinking that when he said it, I was like, "Yep, that's what I gotta go with."
I legitimately put those two next to each other just so we can get the obvious ones out of the way first.
I had to be the different one, right?
Who you got?
I mean, if you want to count that as a re-debut, then we can go there. But
I got Kushida.
I'm not mad at that.
Because I think. Because you gotta think his debut was early this year, was a good debut. Like the injury, the wrist injury kind of knocked him off a bit, but he was coming in hot. And the whole Back to the Future, I like that one. I like it to be the way. NXT.
Truth be told, if we were gonna go like actual debuts and not re-debuts, I would go with Damian Priest.
That was a good one.
Because I loved the way that they put him out there. His entrance is different. His character going from he had a squash match as Punishment Martinez just to see, I guess that was his tryout match.
Yeah.
As Punishment Martinez, and then when he re-debuted as Damian Priest, bruh.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if it was this year or not, but Imperium is another one that was really dope.
That was last year. That was last year.
Okay.
I believe so.
It's all weirdly put together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
I'll tell you right now, because he just brought up Damian Priest. If I ever have the urge to actually purchase another WWE game after the fiasco that was 2K20, Damian Priest his interest music might pull me off of Aleister Black's from my own character.
Listen,
I like his interest music.
Dibs on Rhea Ripley's.
Yeah. See, I can't mess with Rhea Ripley's theme, man. Rhea Ripley's theme be making me want to bench press the Turnpike. I can't do that.
right, next category.
All right, we have the oh my god moment of the year.
All right.
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Let me start off.
Okay.
Mine was the end of War Games when Ciampa put Cole through the table for the win. I was like, is he still alive? Oh my god! I'm like, wow. Like, can you wiggle your toes? Can you wiggle your toes for me, please? Something? Because that, from that height to the table, oh, like, I was like, wow. Like, I was just in awe with that ending right there, that moment.
I gotta say, War Games, period. Like, I take the whole pay-per-view as that's just one moment. Period. Just period. Just War Games, just that's it. War Games.
Yeah.
I originally said that I was going to have, or when I was writing this out, this moment changed 4 times. Because, and the funny thing about it is every single one of them was NXT, because nothing amazing happened in the WWE.
Outside of the Fiend's first, like, coming back.
When he first showed up.
His first showing up was SummerSlam.
No, I mean, when he showed up and attacked Finn Balor the first time.
Yeah.
That popped me. I'll get you that. I'll give you that one. But this one
that's
changed.
The only one in
so
the main roster that I would say, like, okay, the Fiend had it, but NXT just had so many moments at this point.
Yeah.
War Games for me is just like, there's just so much there, because again, you have the women's War Game storyline, you have the turn that happened, like, so much happened in that pay-per-view that has fundamentally changed NXT from, like, now going forward, that I feel like that entire pay-per-view is a moment.
Yeah, mine is also from War Games. It is Kevin Owens' return to NXT.
That's a big one. That was a big
one. That was, I can't say that. Like, wow. Like, it was like, whoa.
I almost flipped my house over when I heard that first little mini guitar line. I'm like, yo, it's on. And he was back to Kevin Owens, the KO. Fight Owens. That's the person I wanted. And that's who came back.
I think the funniest moment in that, though, was that Ciampa looked up at Keith Lee and was like, well, he came. Like, you see him mouth like, well, he came. And then you see Dijakovic like, wait, what? Ciampa looks at Dijakovic and smiles, and then Kevin Owens gets in the ring. I'm like, that was great.
And that shot that they had of Adam Cole looking up the ramp like he had just seen every ghost on the face of the planet, and they were all coming for him.
Sorry, I'm watching the playoffs. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, he got thrown.
His ankles just got killed.
Don't worry, you'll see my reaction in a couple of minutes. I'm on a delay.
All right, so next category we have is the category that I'm pretty sure we all have the exact same one for again, and that's the You Gotta Be Fucking Kidding Me award for the most disappointing moment of 2019.
Bruh.
And I'm just going to come out and say mine. It is the ending to Hell in a Cell, the Universal Championship match that ended in the no contest. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Damn, really?
Yep, that was mine too.
That's not mine.
Yeah, you
don't have that.
Nope, I got Kofi losing in 5 seconds to Brock.
Yeah, I mean,
see, I could give you that. I could give you that. I'm aggravated. I was aggravated about that myself. I was aggravated about that myself, but I was nothing to me tops that nonsense that happened at the end of Hell in a Cell. The mere fact that it came out that Vince McMahon himself got up afterwards and he was just like, I think we made a huge mistake. That right there tells me, like, listen, this was really stupid.
Yeah, Kofi losing in 5 seconds was like, okay, listen, we all knew Kofi was losing that match. The way it went down was kind of messed up, but it was still a little more predictable than, like, they had built the Fiend up to be this thing. Like they had built him so perfectly, and then they do this just because they want to suck Seth Rollins. Like, what?
That to me is more the dumbest moment in WWE than the most disappointing. What they did in Hell in a Cell.
The thing that got me is WWE, when they decided they wanted to have the Fiend go after Seth Rollins, they booked themselves into a corner. That corner had one exit. That exit was to give Bray Wyatt the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell. What did WWE do? They walked into the wall.
Yeah. They put
Not to mention, like they really made Bray's thing look so soft. Like they made him look so soft.
And granted, I can put out there that I've never seen anyone actually make somebody look like the weakest person in the world and the most indestructible force in history in the exact same match, and it be the same person. WWE managed to do it somehow, though. But it was still stupid.
Yeah.
Like the Kofi thing coming out, well, hearing Kofi speak about it afterwards, it makes me feel like worse about that situation, because he said that he was lobbying hard to have it's just a 5 or 10 minute match. He knew he was going to drop the title. He agreed with dropping the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they was just like, no, you just got to lose, and that'll be the end of it. No, you're going to go out there, you're going to get one shot. That's it. That makes me feel worse about it, but I still can't put that over the issue with Rollins and the Fiend.
No. Yeah. The reason why I picked the Kofi was because of the fact that there was no offense at all given to Kofi. Nothing. Mm-hmm. It was like, ref, here's my belt. Ding, ding, ding. F5, it's over. Bam. Not even a kick, not even a punch. Nothing. He wasn't giving no offense at all. And the ending of Hell in a Cell, that was more like a dumb moment. Like he and Vince and like realizing he messed up. There was no way that match should have happened. That match, like we said, it should have waited more till like Survivor Series or maybe the end of the year. He needs to be built out a little more. So now he's going up with Daniel Bryan and Royal Rumble. That's a match that should have happened like during Hell in a Cell, not now, or maybe like Survivor Series. So that's why I kind of didn't want to. I looked at it, I thought about it, and then I was like, nah, it's more like a dumb moment than most disappointing moment. That's why.
I guess that I can give you that.
Yeah. And
category. Next category we have is best heel or face turn of the year.
What you got?
I'm waiting on this one. Y'all tell me what you got first.
So many candidates.
Yes.
So many candidates this year.
We didn't have many face turns this year, did we?
No, there was no, like, I don't think there was. If there were, it was one of those, like, subtle face turns. And that's the thing with face turns. It's never a shock value. It just kind of gradually happens. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, oh, I guess they're a face now. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go with Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. But I kind of put that with an asterisk because I feel like it's like a 4-way tie between like the moments, because it's like you can't pick one and you can't go wrong with picking something else. But I'm gonna go with Finn Balor.
Okay, so the way I looked at this one was the shock value on the turn. How much we expected it, how much of it like was like how did it affect the landscape, and what happened afterwards. So I went with Io Shirai turn of the year, because of the fact she was in the middle of a feud with Shayna Baszler, with Candice LeRae helping her, and then she just whack at that. Turned on Candice, that started another feud, and that went, and then we saw where that went, and then Io is just like on a hot tear like right now as a heel. So like I freaking love it. I love the heel turn. I love how it all went through. The way the NXT creative team wrote that out was perfect. Like, I don't think you could write a better heel turn. So that's my pick for heel turn of the year.
Before I even go into mine, the reason why I did not pick Io Shirai is because WWE messed it up. Had that been Kairi Sane in Candice LeRae's spot, that would have been a no-brainer for me. It's just a matter of, because Io and Candice being shoehorned into that spot, it kind of sort of takes the actual emotional value out of it for me a little bit. The turn itself was still amazing. It's just a matter of, had that been Kyrie instead of Candice, I would have been like, all right, this is so much better. All right.
Well, we all know who to blame for that one.
Yes, Vince McMahon. I have a tie for mine, and this is actually going to be a bit of a thing that goes from this one to the next one. My tie is Daniel Bryan's face turn when it was him and Roman Reigns against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Oh my God, are we doing this again? Okay,
let's go, Dobby.
He got caught.
Bruh, you gotta work on the knees, brother. You gotta work on the knees, bro.
Dobbins almost broke another one, Paul. But we're going back to what I was saying. Daniel Bryan finally coming back to like the face side. All right, when he sat up there, he's trying not to do the yes chants and all that other stuff. And then Roman Reigns was about to give him, trying to dap him up or whatever, and he was just like, "No, we're not doing that." And then he gives him the hug. And I'm just like, "Oh, come on! You can't do this to me!" Like, I was just hating you a couple of months ago, man. Come on. But I fell for it.
That one didn't even hit on my
radar.
honestly.
The other one that I have, because honestly, that one and the little pseudo turn that Samoa Joe just had, to me, are the only real face turns that we've had this year.
Yes. If you're talking about face versus heel turns, then yes, I agree.
Yeah. The one that I have for the heel turn, again, as I said, the reason why this isn't because of what happened in the moment. It was the reactions to it afterwards. Specifically, one video of this little kid crying their eyes out when Bayley turned heel.
That was my other one.
When Bayley came out with her usual little, the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing men or whatever, and she was doing her usual interest, and then she just stopped, and then the music turned off, and she starts just cutting them apart and then throwing them off the stage. I absolutely loved it, because I saw this video of this little kid crying about this mess, and I was just like, that right there, that is a 100% natural, visceral heel turn, because you legitimately brought genuine emotion out of people for that. Mm-hmm. What I would have liked to have seen, I can't remember the girl's name. It's that girl that was always down in NXT.
Yeah.
I want to see her reaction. Mm-hmm. I would want to see her reaction to it.
For sure.
Now, granted, I'm not advocating making small children cry, but that was great.
I am. Hell, I'll be the first person to say it. I am. It's their fault that wrestlers not wrestling no more, because they want to sell small children. Nah, make them cry, bro. Let's go. Revenge of the nerds out here, bro. For real.
All right. So the next category that we have is Return of the Year. Now, we are not just talking about in-ring return. We are just talking about returns in general. If you have been away from this business for an extended period of time and you have come back, you are eligible. Paul, who you got? Because I know who Jaquan's is.
Anybody with common sense.
I changed mine because looking at the definition of the return of the year, I had to change mine. I went with Roman as well. I think you guys said Roman. Because of the fact what happened and what he went through. There was no timetable for his return. And the reason also I liked it was because when he was brought back, he wasn't pushed down everybody's throats. They're actually building him and writing him correctly how they should have done from the start. And I like this now. I like this whole thing with Roman now. He's not being forced down our throats. He's being him. He's doing what he's got to do. So that's my return of the year.
All right, mine. This is the other tie that I had. The tie is between Roman Reigns for the exact same reason and Tommaso Ciampa. When Ciampa came back that night, when Adam Cole was just standing up there with the rest of the Undisputed Era in the ring, Adam Cole is up on the ramp, and all you heard was "No One Will Survive" start playing throughout NXT Arena, and he walks out and just walks around Adam Cole, staring a hole through him, and then puts his eyes on Goldie. And I'm thinking to myself, it's on. It is 100% on, because at some point over the next couple of months, Goldie coming home. JT, let's hear it.
All that's cute, all that's nice, all that, yeah. Fuck all that. CM Punk is back.
Yep.
All I gotta say. Forget all that. There was nothing better than for him to come back and cut one of the best promos I've ever seen by simply saying they think they know, and then you change the rules, and mic drops. That was one of the best things I have ever seen. Period. Period.
His indirect body pipe.
Period. They scored again? Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, man. I told you guys earlier, like I said, I don't, like Benny agreed. Like, I don't think the ACC is as strong. So Clemson is not as strong as you think they are. You know? So,
They got Justin Fields out here looking like a straight, looking like a second round pick right now, bro. Yo, what happened to Benny? Where did Benny go?
He froze. Benny froze. There it is.
Oh, there he is.
There it is. Yeah.
Bro. No, he did not have control of that ball. That should not be a touchdown.
Benny's frozen still. Benny.
He bobbled it heavy. Is he alive? He died.
His streak is frozen.
Oh my goodness. Homeboy out here.
I don't know
He's out here spinning right now.
My bad.
What's going on?
I don't know.
My Wi-Fi dropped out. That's incomplete, guys.
Okay. Are you back?
Okay. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like I was saying, sorry for the technical malfunction, people. But you know what? This is in real time, real podcast. So y'all gonna see all the technical issues. We ain't hiding nothing. Straight up behind the scenes, everything. But CM Punk coming back was one of the best returns of the last decade. Forget the last year. The last decade. Period. Not to mention, the first thing he does is come at Seth Rollins, which is what everybody needed to do.
Yeah.
You all know Seth Rollins is so sensitive.
We hear you. You don't get no audio. You don't got no video though.
All right.
We can hear you.
I don't know
I
what's
can
going
hear.
on.
Okay, now I can hear him.
All right. Well, whatever. We'll figure it out as we're going. All right. Did you move on to the next one yet?
What's the next one after Return of the Year?
The next one we have is Feud of the Year.
Okay.
Now go ahead. What you got? I'm trying to figure out how to get myself shown back up on screen.
All right. Jay, what you got, Jay?
I'm gonna go with the Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole feud, just because of the fact that it got so deeply personal so fast, and it gave us 3 phenomenal matches. And you know, after the whole Johnny wrestling and the whole thing with Tommaso Ciampa and all that stuff that happened, for Johnny to not hold it for that long and just lose it to Cole, because Cole was just so hot at that point, it was perfect.
Yeah. I have Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston as feud of the year. The reason is because of how it all happened, how it all it led to, and how it was well written out where they were trying to avoid Kofi from getting that title shot at WrestleMania. So it wasn't a direct feud, but it was like the way it was written out, the storyline for that feud is what I like. You know, the gauntlet matches that he had, New Day had, the way everything was written out, the way they kind of like, and then after he finally got it, the way they talked down to him, like if he was like Daniel Bryan reversed the situation on him, like how it was done to him. You know, you're nobody. You're a B-level player. I like the way it was done, and in the way it at WrestleMania was perfect. Their match, I like their match at WrestleMania as well too.
I can't disagree with that one bit.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the reason why I did not select that as the feud of the year is because there were a couple of flaws in it. First off, the feud to me was more New Day versus Vince McMahon than it was Kofi versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel, for whatever reason, they made Daniel Bryan feel like a third wheel in that feud, and I was just like, what the heck? I was just like, this is crazy. So I wasn't really I wasn't really feeling that. The other thing was that Vince McMahon's involvement was never explained. There was never any ultimate goal to it. He was just interjecting himself into it, just like he did with the Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey one. So that right there kind of threw me off of that. I'm going to put it here like this, and I'm going to actually break out of kayfabe a little bit with it. All right? My feud of the year, this is where I actually said, y'all, it sounds like it's a joke, but I'm being 100% serious with it, is Seth Rollins versus Twitter. This guy, and I'm telling you.
Oh no!
My thing with this, Seth Rollins, if you watch his year, starting from the Royal Rumble, all right, every single fan in the WWE universe, ourselves included, were going insane when he won the Royal Rumble. When he sat up there and he had the little road to WrestleMania, the times that he was sitting up there getting his ass handed to him by Brock Lesnar, the end of the first match of WrestleMania, where he's out there, he's got the belt swinging it around just like he did when he won it before. All of that stuff. The moment, and I almost put this one other moment on here for my oh my god moments of the years, when Becky Lynch caught the end of days from Baron Corbin, and Corbin turned around and looked at him. And when Corbin turned around and looked at him, like, what the hell are you going to do about it? And then Rollins just went absolutely ballistic. I was sitting up here losing my mind with that. In one tweet, his little Twitter beef with Will Ospreay, he turned all of that goodwill against him. And instead of sitting up here and leaving it alone, he kept fighting it. He kept fighting it. He kept fighting it. I understand where he came from the start, because the WWE was getting beat down from all sides on social media, but they deserved it. Mm-hmm. They deserved every bit of it, because they were going out there putting crap on TV. And I understand, you want to go out there, you want to be the team player, you want to be the company guy, you want to show that you have loyalty and that you're going to defend the people that you work with and that you love. I understand that. The problem is you going the wrong way. You're doing the wrong thing by sitting up there attacking somebody, throwing your bank account in their face, calling people stupid, calling them little guy and all kinds of other nonsense. Nah. You just sat up here and you done messed up every ounce of goodwill, and that is the point where Seth Rollins is not cool turned into a thing. So for me, my feud of the year is Seth Rollins versus Twitter.
Would have never gone there with it, but you're not wrong.
No, not at all.
Not wrong. I didn't even think about that until you said it.
Yep.
That's why it's hilarious, because it's like, damn, I wasn't even gonna go there, but
nope,
you went there. So, I mean, You got that one. You 1,000% right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Next. All right. So the very next category that we have, best championship victory. You guys go ahead. I'm still writing on my phone.
What do you got?
I saw the message. I'm still messing around trying to figure it out.
Okay.
This one is easy for me. It's Kofi at WrestleMania.
Yes, I agree.
It's Kofi at WrestleMania. Like,
it is.
They should have ended WrestleMania right there. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care about the rest of the match. The rest of the matches could have been a dark show. I don't care. Like, Becky winning the women main event in WrestleMania, like, hats off to you, but it was so unnecessary. After Kofi won the title, like, no one cared. I wouldn't have been surprised if everyone would have left after that happened.
They burnt the crowd out with that. They burned the crowd out.
That like, not for nothing, but that should have been the main event because of the fact of what it actually meant for Kofi to win.
Historically, yeah.
Yes, historically. Like, yeah, Becky Lynch wins. She got those titles. That's good. You want women's to main event WrestleMania be the final match, but you have to look at what Kofi winning the title, being the first African American and actually straight up African born person to win the title in WWE.
He was born in Boston, you know that, right?
Was he? I thought he was born like in Ghana.
No, he was born in Boston.
Well, no, he's gone in descent, but right. He's he was born here. That's all right.
I think for the simple fact that it is the title. It is the title.
Right.
That for me is what makes it bigger than the women thing. Like, okay, yeah, you can call me sexist, whatever. I don't really care. But I'm sorry, but a black man winning the WWE/WWF title for the first time, someone not being mixed, someone not being, digestible for the masses, but an actual black man with dreads, who isn't the biggest guy on the block, winning the WWE title is way bigger than the women main event in WrestleMania.
Yes.
And the women main event in WrestleMania was a gimmick anyway because you only did that because of Ronda Rousey. So I don't believe you. Like, had the thing with Becky Lynch happen, when she broke her nose, and she was coming off of that, and that led into WrestleMania, then you would have had a fighting chance. But the way that the Kofi thing was just scripted in a way was just so much. There was so much positive energy behind it, and there's so much history behind it that, like, it usurped any other quote unquote historical accomplishments that WrestleMania had after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the funny thing is everybody points to The Rock, but if you always watch any match with The Rock, they don't say he's black. They always point to him. It's always Samoan. So yeah, he's half Samoan, half black, but the Samoan part is always emphasized with The Rock.
If you really look at it, the most they'll actually put out there about The Rock's African American side is the fact that he's a third generation superstar.
Right.
And that's the only part they actually say. They don't actually go and talk about who Soul Man Rocky Johnson is. They always talk about Peter Maivia. They'll always show The Rock's mom in the audience. They won't ever show, like, listen, this is who The Rock actually is, coming from his father's side of the family. So the historical importance for Kofi Kingston actually winning the championship in the 50-plus year history, the first ever actual African-born and fully black WWE champion, that's serious.
I mean, there were Roman crying. Have you seen the videos? Like,
Shaq
yeah, from Crime Time.
Roman crying.
MVP. They were serious.
That's how serious
it is. Look at what they had to go through. Look at the characters that they had to portray just to get on TV.
Yep.
And they never got to sniff the main event scene.
Nope. Yep. The closest anybody got was the IC or the US title.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, people say, "Oh, Booker T." Booker T won the WCW heavyweight title. That's different.
Not the same.
It's not the same. That the WWE, that was like, that's a gimme belt. But the actual WWE heavyweight title or WWF title, however you want to call it, That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what's important. I mean, we can probably go on and on about this like forever. How big this title win was and what it really meant for not just the WWE, but as a whole, but for everybody in the past that has to deal with like Vince McMahon and all the other stuff. And so it was a big, and I give him praise just for even doing it.
Right. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I saw that Kofi Kingston winning the championship at WrestleMania. That was the obvious choice. All right. So before I actually went and made my pick, I tried to go through all the other emotional championship wins to see if anything else actually stuck out there for me. The first one I went to was Johnny Gargano finally winning the NXT championship. How I felt when that mess happened. I'm sitting up there in Applebee's when this mess happened, and I lost my mind in the restaurant when he won. All right. The next one I went to was me being like a prisoner of the moment with Rhea Ripley won the other day. The one right after that, I took a look at what does Becky Lynch winning becoming Becky 2 belts actually mean. All right. And none of them could hold up to Kofi Kingston winning the WWE championship.
No. It's just a different level. It's a different level. It's like in this category.
Had Johnny beat Tommaso Ciampa, it would have been a closer second. It still wouldn't have beat it, but it definitely would have been a closer second. But the fact that Johnny didn't beat Tommaso and you never had that culmination match makes the Johnny win less emotional for me. It was just like, all right, if I don't give it to him now, then it's a joke.
The other thing that I was going to say, because it also plays into that right there, what would have made the Becky Lynch win better is if it wasn't at the end of a 7-hour event where the crowd was completely checked out at that point and you didn't have a botched finish.
Yeah.
Had you had that definitive Becky hits, whatever finishing move she has at the time, because I hate that stupid manhandle slam. She hits some type of a finisher on Ronda Rousey and gets a clean 1, 2, 3, rather than this botched crucifix roll-up. It would have been so much better, and it would have made it closer. But at the same time, you still, to me, you can't compare to what that Kofi Kingston championship actually means to fans that are like around the world have watched him from 2009 or 2008 until now. I'm sitting up here, I'm looking at Kofi going back to just going back over there as I was going through all of this, looking at this dude has won legitimately, aside from the Universal Championship, every single belt the WWE has to offer.
Multiple times.
Yes.
Multiple times.
I'm looking at how many times. I didn't look and see exactly what the tally was, but my man has been tag team champion with damn near everybody on the roster from CM Punk to, I think he was champions with R-Truth at some point.
Yeah.
I
think he was even champions with Evan Bourne.
Yes, he was.
Like I think he's got 7 or 8 title reigns, legitimately. He's got like 7 or 8.
I believe that's even before you put like the New Day in there.
Yeah, so like he might be at like 13 right now.
Yeah, don't forget.
Absolutely insane.
Don't forget, he came back after they buried him with that whole Randy Orton stupid crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and still came back, still kept grinding.
And his whole push and run was organic. It wasn't manifested.
Yep.
It was all organic.
Yep.
Here's my thing with Becky, and here's why I have no emotion towards the Becky Lynch win. I'm sorry, call me cold, call me crass, call me whatever the hell you want. I don't care. One was too manufactured, and 2, everyone knows that the only way for Becky Lynch to ever get that validation was to have a one-on-one square up match. You could have made that a street fight, whatever, against either Ronda Rousey or Charlotte Flair. Not both of them. The triple threat clause was BS. The whole fact that you added Charlotte to that was crap.
The whole fact that you added the SmackDown title to it was crap.
Yep. And for me, that's what made me check out. That's why I only watched it because I knew we had to review it on the show. I would have turned it off after Kofi. If I didn't think we had to do it for this show, that was it. Like, I was so uninterested, and the match to me was so sloppy, and it was such a honest to God disgrace. It was like a smack in the face to all the fans because it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad. The only person to me that looked any good in that match, sorry to say, was Ronda Rousey because my expectations of her wasn't that high.
Right.
Becky Lynch looked terrible. Charlotte looked terrible. They all looked bad in this match. Not sorry for saying that. They looked terrible. And the only reason why they were the main event is because, sorry to say, the COO was a woman. If the COO was a black man, then we would have been having a different conversation. Straight up. I'm sorry. Call me what you want to call me. It's bull. It's bull. And I'm sorry. It was not worth it. It wasn't worth the main event. If anything, that was a middle of the show match. That was a palate cleanser, if you will.
Like I said, for what they put out there, absolutely. My thing about it is there was so much stuff that they tried to overbook with that they ended up screwing themselves over. And the mere fact that they went out there and they extended the WrestleMania to what it was ended up hurting the entire thing. Everything after the Kofi Kingston match just ended up just falling like completely off a cliff. Mm-hmm. And it didn't help that you also had the Triple H Batista match after that because of the fact that it's just like you had. Oh wait, hold on. That it wasn't just that. The Triple H Batista match. You had the John Cena thing when everybody wanted John Cena to go out there and face Kurt Angle. He went out there and had a segment with Elias, and then you had the Kurt Angle Baron Corbin match after that too.
All trash.
So you pretty much sat up here and you took everybody that was in MetLife at that point. They were on this ridiculous emotional high, and you just killed them. Mm-hmm. It's like you legitimately just poured NyQuil in everybody's beer cup.
It wouldn't, and I think at some point they were saying that the women were being booed at MetLife.
I wouldn't be surprised if you got a New York crowd there.
Knew what I?
Yeah, and it's
that match.
And the thing about it to me, like, granted, I know Becky Lynch can. She's a lot more technical than she's being portrayed as. The problem is right now they're trying to portray her as a Stone Cold Steve Austin brawler. And I mean like Stone Cold post neck injury brawler. Whereas he can't really move and like his moveset is like real stiff and real it looks ridiculous. Like I know Becky can do better than this. All right. So she's out there trying to wrestle as a brawler. You got Charlotte out there who is kind of sort of the best of both worlds, but the problem with Charlotte is the fact that Charlotte's like the Terminator right now, where she takes zero offense from anybody, and if she gets any offense on her, it's like 2 to 3 moves, and then she's right back on top. And then you have Ronda Rousey, who's the most inexperienced of the three of them, who's been thrust into this role of quote-unquote carrying the women's division when she doesn't actually need to.
Nope.
And then on top of that, they made her a heel for this thing.
When she wasn't even a heel.
They made her a heel going towards like WrestleMania because of the fact that she started getting fed up with everything that was going on, and it was so overbooked with the apology from Becky to the McMahons to everybody getting arrested, and it was so dumb. Like at that point, I could understand they did way too much with a story that could have written itself. It ended up hurting.
It was a simple story that could have been very simple. They try to go too far and beyond. They try to be too extra. No need.
And, all right, but anyway, we've been on that one for long enough.
Yeah.
As you can tell, that one was one of those that still kind of stings a little bit.
It stings. And as I said yesterday when we were talking in the chat, this is why somebody needs to go book for the women's division.
But I mean, I think the three of us do that ourselves. Like, I don't.
Come on, bro.
Ember
All right.
Boom.
Next on the list, we have NXT Match of the Year.
All right, Benny, I'll let you go first.
All right. I went back and forth on this one because NXT is so hard to call.
Mm-hmm.
But two matches stuck out to me. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole at TakeOver New York the night before WrestleMania, when Johnny Gargano finally won the NXT Championship. But it didn't win. Not for me. The one that won for me was Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole from TakeOver Toronto, the 2 out of 3 falls that ended inside the hardcore extreme steel cage.
That's the one. Yeah, that one.
That match had so much drama in it. And it ended in such a way where I was just like, what if Johnny Gargano had just landed on top of Cole rather than Cole landing on top of Gargano? We're at a completely different point right now. Gargano's the champion and all kinds of other stuff. That match could have been, it was crazy. And I can't think of a single match better than that one. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best part of the match is that, like, it's not like Cole won.
He survived.
He survived it. So it's like, I can never sit up here and say Adam Cole is the better of the two because Adam Cole just got it's like he got a lucky bounce.
He just happened to fall the right way.
He got a Kawhi level bounce at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I can compare to is that game winner that Kawhi had. Like, if it doesn't bounce a certain way, we're having a different conversation.
And the crazy part about it is you had legitimately the exact same ending in this match. Well, not the exact same, but the same basic principle when it came to the ending with this match, the TakeOver 25 match, as you had with The Miz and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just executed so much better.
And we actually care about those people. And The Miz and Shane McMahon, we don't care.
Yeah.
Because, again, these two guys wrestling, either one of those guys can win because they're both at the top of the game. Yep. Shane McMahon is not even close to the wrestler that The Miz is. And The Miz, to me, was disrespected by even getting put into that match.
Yeah.
I don't care what Mr. McMahon thinks about, if you have a match with Shane McMahon, that's me praising you. That's a load of crap.
Mm-hmm.
Shane McMahon is not the level, not the legend, not the caliber of half the people he's wrestled in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since Steve Blackman. And Steve Blackman was so much better than him, but those matches, and his match against Kurt Angle, were by far his best matches. Yep. That's where it should have ended for Shane. He should not have wrestled again.
I'm going to tell you right now, not to get too far off topic, but I think Shane McMahon probably should have retired after Kurt Angle tried to throw him through that glass.
That's what I'm talking about.
And they screwed up and had real glass there instead of the sugar glass.
Mm-hmm.
Because he probably would have died.
Yeah, and I think that's what ended, or at least initially started, the decline of Kurt Angle's career. After that, when he talked about it, that was the match. So, like, I low-key blame Shane McMahon for ending Kurt Angle's career. That's me. That's who I'm blaming for it. And you know what? Love me, hate me, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm blaming for it.
What y'all got?
I think we're all in agreement in that NXT Toronto 2 out of 3 falls with Adam Cole.
It's any match between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole this year. Period. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it there.
I had those two as my top, but I had to go with the Toronto one because of the fact. Like, here's the thing: it's like when we saw those, I think we all agreed it's gonna be 1-1 and it's gonna go to the third. Yep. Like, it didn't matter how it's gonna go; it's gonna go to the third fall.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fact of how things ended on both occasions. We were surprised, but it was the one in Toronto. Because, like we say, it's not that Cole won; it's that he survived, and the way they had it. And they wrote it out was really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it could have gone either way, but Cole just happened to flip over real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
But I will say that the women's War Games match does come to mind when I think the best matches this year, because as short as the span has been, to me that's what really solidified Rhea Ripley. Like, okay, they're strapping the rockets for this girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because. When I heard Triple H's interview after about her just being, 24? I think
She's
she's like
23.
24.
She's 23.
Yeah, about her being 23 and she's already had this level of success. It's almost like he gets a redo with Paige.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he gets to right all the wrongs that he had with Paige coming up in the division. So I can give her that appreciation, but nothing to me this year has touched what Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole put on outside of
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, so next category, since we're all in agreement there. WWE match of the year. And mind you, this means excluding NXT. I'm not trying to say WWE as a whole. I'm just mean like main roster, Raw, SmackDown, that shit.
I'll start it off.
Please do, because I got
Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan has been my foray for a lot of this because of the fact how it was written out, how the match at WrestleMania came out. That match at WrestleMania was really good. You could say it was a match of the year for WWE. It's in there. It should be in there. If they don't have it, like when they do their thing, I'll be upset. And then the ending and what the win meant for Kofi to win that belt. So I threw all of that in there for this. As that's why I have this one as a match of the year for me for the WWE. Because what it meant, how it built and everything.
We're listening,
Trevor
Paul.
Lawrence just died.
But Trevor Lawrence just got killed. I legitimately think he's dead.
I just saw
like
it.
He's
his body got twisted in ways that you're not supposed to be twisted.
Yeah, it's not even just that, man. He caught a helmet to the ear hole.
Oh, and his knee.
Yeah.
His knee.
That's what I'm saying.
Man. Oh, man.
He's jogging. He's jogging off. He's good. He's good. He's jogging off. He's good.
Yeah, he got rocked.
Yeah.
Man, I was going
he's back and forth.
He's earning that Andrew Luck title for real.
Yeah.
Yep. Golly. We're sorry. We're watching the Clemson versus Ohio State, so you know when we're recording this.
Yeah. Like it is as far as my pick goes, good God. I can't even speak looking at this replay. Anyway, I was going back and forth between Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, which was the pick, and the other one that I had that came in a extremely close second is Asuka versus Becky Lynch at Royal Rumble. It's hard to actually sit up there and go back and look at that match and be like, look at where these two are now, whereas Asuka is kind of sort of just, I can't even say she's like the third wheel or she's like, an afterthought because like she's one half of the tag team champions. But for most of the year, she hasn't meant anything since right before WrestleMania. But that match right there, to me, as far as the main roster goes, is still the women's match of the year. Had the women's Hell in the Cell match ended differently, meaning, Sasha Banks' heel turn not being completely, shitted all over, I probably would have had that up there as well because that match was insane. But even with Asuka and Becky Lynch going out there and putting on the show that they did at Royal Rumble, again, it can't be put over Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. That match had absolutely everything you could ask for. Every bit of drama that you needed, every bit of, the heel wrestler outdoing the face in every facet. This furious comeback. You had Kofi Kingston essentially, for lack of a better term than this, considering who it's I want to say identifying, hulking up in the middle of that match, taking the kicks that he did, and basically just asking for more as he was going. Mm-hmm. The New Day taking Rowan out. It had everything that you absolutely needed. And then the return of the real WWE Championship at the end of it. Kofi celebrating with his kids in the ring afterward. It had everything you needed. All right, you cannot put any WWE main roster moment over that one right there. And that match was the perfect lead up to it. What you got, Jay?
I mean, when you put it that way, I kind of got to agree with you on that one because no other match really comes to mind no match was memorable enough for me to be like, yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, again, like you said, the Oscar match was really dope. The Seth Rollins match with Brock Lesnar was actually really good to start off the show, but it didn't have enough. Like, there's something about Brock Lesnar matches that to me will never be match of the year worthy.
Yeah.
Because he's too. They built him up to be too powerful, and he doesn't sell very well unless it's against like another big guy. Like the way he sold for Samoa Joe was great.
Unless somebody hits him with a low blow.
Yeah. But I think honestly, yeah, it's got to be the Kofi Kingston match, just based off the fact of finally we had a real wrestling match between two guys who have a very similar style, a very similar size, and it's just those two guys going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it had the storytelling, it had clear, distinct sizes, it had all the story drama that led up to it come into play in the match. It had multiple finishers, it had multiple close finishes and false finishes, and it just had everything you needed. And then it had the babyface coming out on top with the crowd so invested. And somehow, some way, even in the fallout of it, didn't damage Daniel Bryan at all.
Yep.
That's the craziest part to me.
Honestly,
it doesn't hurt Daniel Bryan.
Honestly, and there's one thing I gotta point out about that match that it kind of gets lost because most of the focus is actually on Kofi in that situation. This moment of the moment where Kofi takes over and he starts doing the arm where he traps Daniel Bryan's arms and he starts doing the stomps, right? Daniel Bryan is such a good heel that he had the crowd chanting for him to get his head stomped in after all the concussion issues that he's had.
Yeah.
That is a testament to his own character work that cannot be understated.
Right.
Yeah. Especially because, like, realistically, one wrong mistimed kick could have killed Bryan.
Yeah. And it's
hell, look at what we had. Like, I hate to bring up, like this moment, which was a complete botch. But remember the Liv Morgan, Brie Bella thing, where Brie Bella was doing the yes kicks and Liv, their timing went off, and Liv Morgan got kicked in the head as a result. So it's like you sit up there and you look at it like this, inches away from a situation where somebody's career, somebody's life could be, altered for the negative forever. But Bryan had everybody sitting up there cheering for that mess. Like, yo, kick his face in. Like, because he's just been that good. He's been that good and that effective as a heel.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
All right, so we're down to our last two.
Wait.
Second to last.
I didn't even hear Paul. Did you?
He said Kofi versus Bryan.
Okay. So we all agreed on that.
Yeah.
I remember hearing you say anything. But...
Nah, it's not good. Because I said it because of the fact how it led into and like how the match ended and what the meant for Kofi. So all that culminated into making it match of the year. Like there were a couple of it's just the way I looked at that match. Like that match alone, the win has so much to it. Like it's just, you can't ignore it. And I'm gonna be interested to see like when everybody else does theirs, if this anywhere. Because if it doesn't, I'll be like, you're not taking into consideration of Kofi being the first black man to win this title into consideration. Like, so. All right, now on to the last two.
All right, last two we got are I can't even speak straight. Female Wrestler of the Year. And I'm not quite sure you can really say it's anybody but Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Up until this past, let me change that. Up until War Games.
Yep.
Shayna Baszler was untouchable. Every single person. Now I said it coming back for all the prediction videos that we've had leading up to this. All right. I had thought about 5 or 6 times in a row, this is the time Shayna Baszler is going to lose this belt. I think the only one that I didn't jump on the bandwagon for was the Mia Yim match, just because of the fact that Mia Yim, I was just like, yeah, this is too early for you. It's just,
not even that. I knew that they're too close of friends. Like, you see them training with each other like 2 weeks before, and then all of a sudden he got beef with him. Come on.
Yeah, I was just I agree. I don't think she was ready for it. The times that I thought she was gonna lose was Io Shirai. I was surprised she lost to Kairi Sane.
That was just a roll up though.
Yeah, I know. That was just like it is. Yeah, but I thought she was lose to Io Shirai. I thought she was gonna lose to Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That one had me. I was like, but Shayna Baszler, like, she's the rest of the year for me as well. I mean, not taking anything against Rhea Ripley, but again, her projection has been since War Games. She's whole entire year. She's had a whole year to do this.
Shayna's has been since last year.
Pretty much. Yeah. So for me, it's hands down Shayna Baszler as well, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with her now that she lost the title. Is she gonna get called up, or is she gonna stay at NXT?
Survivor Series said everything I needed to see.
Yep. Yeah.
Survivor Series cemented that for me. We already know where she's going. We already know where she's going after when she get there. The only monkey wrench in the situation is when are we getting Ronda Rousey back?
Yeah.
That's
I am honestly 100% certain. Now, granted, I ain't got no inside information. This is just me and my own headcanon. I honestly believe Shayna Baszler is going to be either number 27 or number 30 in the Royal Rumble. If Ronda Rousey is not coming back, I can honestly see Shayna Baszler being number 30 coming out there, winning the Royal Rumble, not even waiting, just being like, Becky, bring your ass out here.
Nah, I could see her at 30. I see her like 627. I don't want her to.
I could see a situation where you have Shayna Baszler come out at like 28, 29, and you have Ronda Rousey come out at 30, and you have Rousey win it, but you have it be a situation where those are the last two, and it'll be. I feel like it's almost like it's hard to put it in a way because it's like Becky has beef with both of them.
Yeah.
And legitimate beef. But at the same time, I would, with the Fox situation being what it is and the SmackDown Women's Division being as deplorable as it is, I would love to see Ronda Rousey go over to SmackDown and win that title and have Shayna Baszler continue her feud with Becky Lynch because it's fresher. But either way they go with that, I get it. But I feel like if Shayna were to, like, say, lose and then go to SmackDown, it would almost be like she's conceding to Ronda Rousey. And it would not go well with her character. And
it wouldn't go well with the fans either.
Yeah. And that's a part of the problem with the 4 Horsewomen now, is that now you have basically 6 alphas. Because the other 2 are very beta to me, so it's like they follow whoever they want to follow, and it doesn't really matter. And Marina Shafir and Jessamyn Duke, because you don't really know them all that much.
Right.
But now you have Sasha Banks, Bayley, who have kind of cemented themselves as like the evil best friends, but you're just waiting for someone to turn on someone at this point. And then you have Charlotte and Becky Lynch, who have put their differences aside, but will turn on each other in a heartbeat. So it's like, at this point, it's like, there is no clear hierarchy. Like, and it's like whoever has to deal with Shafir and Jessamyn Duke, like, they can't even become threats because if you face them, they technically can't win because they're basically the B team or the mystery match. Like, they're not legitimate in the eyes of the fans at all.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's
you got Baszler though, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, it's not even, like, again, Rhea is within the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Was granted cool. You ended the year off strong. Next year, if they keep it going, it's 100% going to be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
But right now, Shayna has dominated for the better part of the last 2 years.
And it's not just that. It's like her matches, her promo work. Like, take that on.
She's holistically, she's become she went from being a fighter and an independent wrestler that was just good to being a WWE brand superstar this year.
The top heel in NXT with the potential to be the top heel in WWE as well.
I can't put her as a top heel in NXT because Ciampa had that so locked down for so long, and until Baszler can come out where she's universally booed and doesn't need music, I can't ever put her as a top.
Well,
I'm sorry.
On the women's side.
That's fair.
Yeah,
but the thing with the
women
women though is that the women have flip flopped so much that it's like at some point I felt like Shayna was almost a face because everyone was just trying to get to her title. So it's like I can't be mad at you because you're not really a bad guy. You're just kind of like an overlord that's like, all right, who am I gonna fight next? That's why for me it's like I can't give her like the top heel, but at the same time, like for lack of better choices, yes, she was the top heel.
For lack of a better word, we could actually say the top guy type thing, even though she's not a guy. She's top dog, right? All right,
For
now
sure.
last category we got is male wrestler of the year.
This is an interesting one.
I don't see how there's much debate, personally.
All right, let me see what you got.
Baby. That's it.
Yep.
Baby. That's it.
Hands
There's
down.
No one who has had this kind of year. Like, he went from being the guy that's like, okay, he's next. Tommaso goes down, and they kick it into overdrive and match. I don't think the man had a bad match. Like, his worst match was against that guy who ended up getting fired anyway. The Smiley dude who called everybody racist. That was probably
Jordan Miles.
There we go. That's his name. I don't even remember his name. Freaking idiot. That was probably his worst match of the year.
Okay, T-Law.
But like, okay, sir.
Oh.
Okay. Talk about come back with it. Talk about hit me in the face and I'm gonna come back with him. Sir.
Somebody woke up.
Yes, sir. Somebody woke that boy up. So that hit must have woke him up. They don't know what they done did, bro. Oh boy, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is like round 6 in a boxing match after homeboy. I don't care. After the favorite got knocked out and he's just getting up like, all right. This is like Rocky when he got tired of playing with dudes. Like, okay.
You want to hit me hard? Hit me harder.
Are you serious?
Woo, that. There we go. That's. I feel like him get hit in the face like that. He ain't got hit in the face like that all year. That's why he's like, oh, I got to shoot you like I did everybody else in high school.
It woke him up.
It woke up that
beast. Woke him up.
You see, he didn't even hesitate on that one.
Nope.
There was no hesitation on that.
Left my man on skates.
Excuse me. Oh. He said, yo, come here. I'm tired of playing with y'all now. Come here.
Sorry.
Come here. Come here.
Lawrence just scored. Trevor Lawrence sound.
I just flat in the head.
Yeah, man.
Your man out here looking like a Greek god traveling on a freaking chariot. Your man hair was flowing. Boy. Out here galloping.
Remember the Titans? What's the quarterback's name? Remember the Titans? The quarterback?
I forgot his name.
Oh, Sunshine.
I haven't seen remember the Titans.
Sunshine. Oh, my boy out here looking like Sunshine.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Adam Cole. My choice as well.
Go.
I'm sorry, guys. We had to.
Everything worked out how I had wished. UE undisputed won all the titles. They ran with it. He just took over, and I feel when Tommaso went down, I felt they did it right when they gave it to him, because the obvious choice would have been to give it to Johnny. You know,
which they did initially.
They did, but they switched it over. You know, and I think it was the best thing to do. Not that Johnny wasn't right. Not that Johnny couldn't carry it, but it's just like the whole story with Johnny is he's there, but he just can't get there. Like
he's always chasing.
Yeah, and that's like Johnny, and he's always there, you know. So Cole was like, this is the man. Like he's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm glad they gave it to him, and like you said, he hasn't had a bad match all year except for that Jordan Miles match, which I don't know.
It
But
is what it is.
yeah,
Jordan Miles is just not that good of a wrestler. I'm sorry, straight up. He just wasn't that good. His matches weren't great. It's just like, again, the fact that they knocked out Swerve in the first round, I knew the breakout tournament was crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so I was gonna say I'm gonna finish it off with the exact same pick, and that's Adam Cole. This one didn't take any time for me at all. The only other person that could have, in my opinion, been in consideration would have been Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan had time off for too long, and then after championship, he hasn't really been involved in anything that actually had any type of consequences to it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Cole goes, we're going over our matches of the year for all for stuff, and there's one name that keeps popping up, and it's Adam Cole. We've been through War Games. Adam Cole. We were talking about even like the match that they had at Survivor Series. Who was in the best match at Survivor Series? It was Adam Cole. Like, it's just like
the best match at Survivor Series 100% was no.
NXT match of the year, Adam Cole.
Yes.
Not the best match at Survivor Series though. Let's keep it a buck.
Then Feud of the Year. Feud of the Year. He was in competition with Feud of the Year. Japan had him for Feud of the Year. I had him in contention for Feud of the Year. And Benny, I'm guessing you probably had him in contention too as with Feud of the Year as well. Yeah,
behind the Seth Rollins thing. But
so it's like that was just I wow.
Yeah.
That was prime time right there.
So the two common denominators in this whole thing has been Adam Cole and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as well
so, like if you were gonna give Cole MVPs, it would be those two. But I just feel like Adam Cole has. If you want to look at the calendar year, Adam Cole look at runs since he's had the title. You want to look at championship defenses. Mm-hmm. Like you want to look at him being involved in other people's storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to talk about gimmick. You want to any category that you want to kind of pigeonhole him in. He wins or is a very close second.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, come on. Like the only other person for me is it's the Rhea Ripley syndrome. It's a victim of the moment would be Keith Lee. But Keith Lee, I feel like he's ascending.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, even though she just won the title, she's just now starting to ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But to have someone who's been doing it from January to as we speak, right now, baby.
Yep.
Just again, it literally led Team NXT in terms of locker room leading.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was like, "F the locker room, it's just me and my boys." But in terms of like setting the precedent, and like if you look at like the leading up to Survivor Series matches, the two matches that everyone talks about, Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins, Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
I don't even remember any of the other matches. I really don't. I remember the promos, I remember the run-ins, but in terms of actual matches, Adam Cole didn't talk smack to nobody. He just showed up, kicked people in the face, did what he had to do, got the win, left.